at the Adventure Bay Museum, and they are preparing for the first visit of the royal kitties. Then they realize that Chase has arrived, and Ryder starts to say that he is transporting a cat statue. Rocky uses his vehicle to move the box so he can take it inside the museum. Mayor Humdinger arrives and says he is interested in the royal kitties, while the Paw Patrol are moving the box, and the mayor says that it is a gift from Barkingburg and that it will only be opened by the royal kitties. But we see that Humdinger tries to open it to steal the statue, and that ends up causing the alarm to go off. We go to the train, and the kitties are being cared for by Katie. Then the mayor appears dressed as a butler and hits the service cart to distract them so he can take the opportunity to take the kitties. Katie starts to say to let them pass and to return the kitties, but we see that Humdinger doesn't listen to her and separates the wagons. So Katie decides to contact the Paw Patrol and begins to tell them that a suspicious man stole the kitties and that they are in danger because he separated the cars. Then Ryder calls the Paw Patrol, and we see that they gather to listen to the mission. Ryder starts telling them that they must save the kitties and that they will help their friends before they have any accidents. So Chase will be named as the team leader, and they will have an ultimate police rescue mission. Then the Paw Patrol get into their new vehicles with police designs, and they are on their way to complete the mission. We go with Katie, and we see that the Paw Patrol managed to get there in time to help them. We start to see Sky use her vehicle to help her friends, and she manages to save them so they are not in danger. The Paw Patrol continue with the mission, and Humdinger realizes that they are being chased. The kitties push the buttons to move the tracks so they can get away. Chase begin to say that they must split into groups to stop all the wagons. We start to see that the Paw Patrol are working as a team, and they manage to save everyone. It gets dark, and Humdinger's kitties modify the locomotive to move through the ground. Humdinger names the royal kitties as new members, and we see that they have the Tracker and Everest costumes, while the Paw Patrol are investigating for clues and manage to discover that it was Humdinger. We go to the museum, and we see that the mayor activates the security system to protect the statue. But suddenly we see that Humdinger appears and Chase the kitty manages to dodge the traps to get the royal kitties to approach because they are the only ones who could open the box. We go back to the Paw Patrol, and they manage to discover that they had left clues. Chase realizes that they went to the museum because they want to get the statue of the kitty. The Paw Patrol go to Adventure Bay, but when they arrive they realize that it is too late and that the statue was stolen. Ryder starts to tell them that Humdinger is responsible and that he used the royal kitties to open the box. We go to Humdinger, and the kitties are tired because they've been working too hard, but suddenly we see that they are being surrounded by the Paw Patrol, and they use spikes to stop them. Then Humdinger tries to escape, but we see that he doesn't make it, and they thank the Paw Patrol for helping them. We go to the volcanic Rumbletop Island, and the cousins are exploring looking for the white tiger. We go to the Paw Patrol, and they are playing with a kite, but suddenly it gets stuck up a tree. Marshall starts swinging and manages to get the kite down, while the Turbits continue in search of the legendary white tiger, but suddenly the place starts to shake, and we see that a small tiger gets inside the backpack, and they do not realize it. The mother tiger approaches them to retrieve her baby, but we see that the Turbits run away scared and end up trapped. Captain Turbot communicates with Ryder and begins to tell him that they need his help because they got trapped. But suddenly, we see that they start falling down a big hole, and the signal is lost. Ryder decides to call the Paw Patrol, and we see that they gather to listen to the mission. Ryder starts telling them that they will be wearing an aviator suit to save their friends because they are trapped inside a cave. So Sky will be named as the team leader, and that they will have an ultimate air rescue mission. Then the Paw Patrol board Sky's new ultimate helicopter, and they are on their way to complete the mission. While Captain Turbot is looking for his cousin, and they manage to realize that there was a tiger in the backpack. They start to say that they should look for the white tiger to return her baby, but suddenly we see that it is shaking again. We go back to the Paw Patrol, and they made it to Rumbletop Island. Then the Paw Patrol start looking for the entrance, and they manage to realize that there is a camera on the ground. So the pups jump out of the helicopter to get closer to the new clue. They realize that it is Captain Turbot's camera, and they go on their way to look for their friends, while the white tiger continues looking for her baby. But suddenly we see that the Turbits are attacked, and they fall into a hole again, where they realize that the mountain is actually a volcano about to explode. Then the mother tiger is about to attack them, but they manage to be saved thanks to the baby tiger, while the Paw Patrol continue their investigation in search of their friends, and realize that the Turbits are inside a hole. Rocky uses his rappel gear to get down, but he can't find them. Sky manages to realize that smoke is coming out of the mountain, so Ryder discovers that it is a volcano. Then the Paw Patrol reunite in the helicopter and decide to jump into the volcano to save their friends, while Ryder and Zuma are investigating another one of the caves. We go inside the volcano, and the Paw Patrol manage to get there in time to help them. We start to see that the Paw Patrol use their devices, and they manage to create a path up the lava, but they manage to realize that their plan didn't work. The Paw Patrol decide to use their flying vehicles to save them and get them out of the cave before it explodes. Then the Paw Patrol begin to celebrate that they completed the mission and that they became friends with the white tigers. This